Hello, guys. So today, really cool topic. It's oversimplification of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. If you've been reading through his books, studying a lot, studying also all the books that he is suggesting, he actually has a read list on his website FAQ. I would not advise to go in there because the whole topic of this video is actually about stop doing this study. Not the work, study. Dr. Joe, during his retreats, also tells all the time, like, study. We have to know what we're doing from the standpoint of like biology and our brains. I believe it's very important for some people to build logical connections between things. And probably understand like how our brains work. Maybe not. Maybe it's simpler. Let's talk about that. So recently my meditation group started the book study. We are studying the Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And page 240 plus, they have an exercise part where you actually have to write down stuff. We're on the second week only, so did like 2 chapters, I think. But the idea is that we are figuring the emotions that we want to get rid of and trying to connect this emotion with our body feeling, all the like triggers, anchors that we can notice, so we can notice the emotion. And it hit me that that's it. That's all you need. There is no need in actually studying how our brains are working, how our bodies are working. I think that the less actually we know in some aspects, the better. The better, because we have so much fake knowledge about the world, about ourselves, how our systems work, and fun stuff that Dr. Joe actually proves it all the time with all the testimonials. It's like, oh, my thyroid has been removed and now it's growing back. It's against the science, but well, here we are. But learn the science. Like the fuck. I feel that we're just overwhelmed with information, and the worst thing that this information is doing to us is that we are considering that learning stuff is actually changing us. No, it does not. Learning stuff does not do shit. Learning is just another checkbox in our to-do list and a little bit of dopamine injection into your brains that tells you, you did a great job, good job, let's repeat it tomorrow. But in fact, nothing changed. Let's think about it through the concept of who we are. I would separate our entity, our being, from our body. As a being, we are coming to this world as a newborn, and we are keeping the same entity, right, through our lives. But also, we have a body that is evolving. And the body, I think, is an instrument, a tool of this entity to experience this world. I think that this is pretty much in the concept of Dr. Joe's work and description. So, we have a body as a tool, but we also have an entity. If I would ask you, what is your life purpose? You will probably answer from the entity standpoint, not from your body standpoint. I will explain difference. Easiest example is probably the Maslow's pyramid. At the baseline, we have those survival instincts and procreation instincts. And at the top, we have like superego or whatever stuff, where we have more of our spiritual goals and more of actually this being purpose, right? So if I will ask you, what's your life goal? Your answer probably will have probably it has nothing to do with the body, let's be honest. My life purpose is to be happy. I always knew that. I always had this concept from the stage when I was a baby until now. I never hesitated it. I just know that this is my life purpose. And the more books I was reading, the more theories I heard, the more I feel that this is the right thing actually for majority of people. It is the same concept as like, putting this oxygen mask first on yourself and after that taking care of others. I think that this is a concept, right? In order to make everything better around us, we have to become this better thing. And we can share happiness only from the state of happiness. And if you're in a state of lack in any aspect, you will not do anything good for others. And studying psychology for quite some time, I know that quite often we're mixing these terms when we are thinking that we're kind and good people, but in fact we are doing really bad thing for others, like helping others quite often in its nature is invalidization of others, which sounds horrible, but anyway, I don't want to go deep into psychology here. Life purpose for me is being happy. If yours is too, cool. If not, just take a moment to think, what's your life purpose? And I cannot say like it's the right answer for everyone, right? I don't know. People are very different. So, what is my body's purpose? You would ask. And I feel like my body's purpose all my life was survival. And more so from the psychological standpoint, neither than physical, but psychologically, my body was and is still in survival mode. My childhood was interesting. And I feel like in every country where there was a war history, pretty much every country, where there was a regime change history, people are surviving through, like, this is generational memory, right? We are learned from our parents, grandparents, and so on to survive through the war, though actually we're living in a total different society, but we're always ready. We're always ready in case something, we're ready. We do not know how to make a fire, but psychologically, we're so ready. Actually, not, but our brains are very tricky. And unfortunately, they trick us in the way that it's funny and scary. It is contradicting to our purpose. So our body works against our entity, our being. Because body's purpose is to survive, and survival is about safety. And again, we're into psychology a little bit, but as far as we are trying to survive and it is about safety, our brains, our reticular activating system will always choose patterns that are familiar, even if they are bad. We are staying in abusive relationships because they are predictable. We are staying in a company with a tough environment because it's predictable. It's known. We know that tomorrow will be the same shitty day, but we're staying there because we know. An unknown for our brains is like scariest thing ever. So it can be best thing ever. And I guess this is all what we're doing here in Dispenza's work, right? We are actually going into unknown and trying to live with that concept and trying to believe that it's good for us. So we are retraining our reticular activating system to see other opportunities by removing old patterns, but also by noticing other new patterns. Because when we're in a state of love, when we are focused on our fourth energy center, we are changing our chemistry in the brains, and our brains are like, same. I think this is very similar to a behavior of drunk people or drugged people. When we're drunk, we are usually like a little bit more free. It depends, probably. Alcohol might act differently on people. But on me, it acts the way that I feel more secure. I feel more free. I feel like I can do anything. So it feels like probably energy center number 4 is doing pretty much the same for us. And if you have been to retreat, you know that we're also doing some chemistry in our brains with the pineal gland and one above her, above pineal gland. I forgot, what is it? 7th center, anyway. So we can do chemicals. And the thing here is that there is no need to know all of it to do changes. And actually, there is no need to study everything and to read motivational literature, read all the stuff. It's extremely simple. It's that simple that you are a being, you're an entity. And body is your tool, but not necessarily your helper. So when we are in a situation that we feel weird about or angry about or anything like emotionally that we are not comfortable with, everything that is not happiness, all we need to do is step back and back to our entity state and see, okay, this is my body reaction, what it means. And it's not your reaction, it's your body reaction. This is your brains, but you are not your brains. It's a separate thing that is taking a lot of shitty patterns from your previous experience, from childhood, from school, from previous relationships, all ugly things that ever happened in your life, they're also there. All positive things also there. But negative thing is what actually built all those obstacles because it's protective mechanism. And funny enough, I do have a lot of things that I noticed during this work that I do not have obstacles in. And it's interesting to see that, hey, apparently my world has a lot of people that are safe for me. I'm not scared of people. So probably that's why I have a lot of friends and it's easy for me to communicate with people because I consider them safe. I haven't met a lot of bad people, I guess, in my life. Bad. We all are bad at some points and aspects. But I mean, my brains did not set up this pattern. Same with relationships. My brains did not set up pattern of abusive relationships, so I never had those abusive relationships. And it's hard to notice because it never happened. The only way to notice it is just to listen to other stories and analyze it against your life and your experience, right? But this is the point. We are retraining our systems in order to exactly see the world in the ways that we want to see it for our life purpose fulfillment. And when we are stepping back and separating from this emotion, because we are entity and we have life purpose, and it's so cool, like, oh my God. And there is a body who is fighting for its life, but it's not even in a situation most likely that it needs to fight. It's also very important to notice that there are situations where people are testing our boundaries. People are doing weird stuff, bad stuff. It doesn't mean that we have to be loving. Hello. It doesn't mean that we have to be loving and forgiving. No. If anyone would do something bad for me, I will probably get angry. And it's normal reaction. Our body has to be safe. Though we also have to teach it that we are enough and it is safe because we are taking care of it, right? So if someone is testing our boundaries, we are setting those boundaries. So our body will know that next time, if someone will try to do the same thing, we are safe. If someone is, I don't know, attacking us in the comments or anything, we can ban them and we're safe. We're safe. And if we're not safe, there are certain situations. It's normal to act in legal terms, right? But yeah, it is It is that easy. And when I figured that out, it was also very helpful for me to stop reacting on things. And my, I guess, worst thing that I've been doing is overthinking about how should I react? What should I do? How bad this person is? How bad this situation is? But in fact, those thoughts are taking your energy. Those thoughts are basically my donation of my own life and energy to someone or something, some event, even not an entity that you're donating it to, right? It's just past situation that is taking out my energy from my life purpose. The hell? No, it's mine. Don't touch it. And my dog is also trying to be annoying as hell. So yeah, apparently the work is very easy. And the work is not about reading. The work is about noticing those moments on daily basis, stopping ourselves, stepping back, translating those emotions into actually understandable patterns for brains, and ensuring that our brains next time will feel better about certain situations. Simply learning new pathways and forgetting old pathways because we're not reacting anymore. We are rethinking and acting on purpose. That's it. I don't know why, but it is giving me so much energy. It feels like, when I am not wasting my energy on daily small problems, it is getting so much easier. And also as a separate thing that I had to relearn, I guess, is a circle of communication. Obviously, not all people in my environment are doing Dispenza's work. And certain people are having tough times and they need support. And fortunately or not, it's our choice to spend, it's my choice to spend energy and time to help. And it's normal. But here you're helping your friend to overcome something. So they will be happier next day. Notice that they should be happier next day. If it's nothing that changes and the person is not actually about inner work, but mostly about chit chatting, I would reconsider their existence in my circle. But if your friend's in need of help, it's normal to spend the energy in such situations. But also think about the fact how much energy you can save if you're stopping reacting, if you stop reacting on day-to-day stuff, small stuff. I don't know, the car that picks up trash didn't pick up mine for some reason. My reaction would be, oh my god, it will smell, blah blah blah. Stop it there. You cannot do anything with that any longer. If you want, you can write a letter to a company, but it's fact. It happened. Yes, upsetting, cool, past. Just not your life purpose, not even close. I guess we should choose our battles and just ignore. Actually, I think the bigger thought is that we have to ignore a lot of things in our life in order to see changes. Yeah. We always think that learning stuff, I always think that learning more stuff, doing more stuff will do something best for my future. But in fact, it never did. Mm-mm. The more I studied for my work, the more I struggled with that. I recently thought about creating a guide for product managers who are starting, like actually what you will have to do. Because what I notice is that a lot of books that are teaching product management have all this fancy theory, like how to do this and how to do that. In fact, the job has nothing to do with this theory. And very few companies can afford PM who is doing what they're teaching you in those books. And this is the same thing in every aspect of our life. People are going to the gym not knowing like what exercise they're doing and why. Me. Don't care. But I'm trying. Decreasing load, mental and physical, in our world is helping us so much to preserve our energy and to actually reach our life purpose. And if my life purpose is happiness, what I figured is that it's the easiest thing to have. Easiest. There are so many small things that are making me happy, and it has nothing to do with bigger goals, expensive stuff. Yeah, there are still things that will make me happier day to day. But I don't know, happiness is not like, 70% or 100%. You're just happy. You're just happy. And there are tools that can, help faster or help on a daily basis or help in a long-term perspective. Like a good diet will actually help you be happy because balanced hormones, digestive system, good health, it will be impacting. But also eating clean food, reducing all the trash from the plate will help. It's always about reduction.